Hello everyone, Professor GonGoon here. In today's video, we'll look at a few Dragon and Baron attempts and discuss why it was a good call or why it was a terrible call. In the first clip, Kha'Zix goes bottom for a gank, but since the enemy bot lane is so close to the turret, he's only able to poke with his W and back off. Both Lucian and Blitzcrank are low in health and mana, so if we were to force a Dragon right now, the enemy team wouldn't be able to contest it because their bot lane has to recall and heal up. If they don't recall and go to the Dragon fight, they're pretty much just free gold. The only question we have to ask ourselves is, can Lissandra and Rammus prevent us from taking the Dragon? They do have a good bit of CC between the two of them, but it's 2v4, so the chances of them stopping us are pretty low. But Diana lands a Q on Lissandra and all Linzer, and you see immediate pings onto the Dragon. The only one close to Dragon now is Rammus, and there's no way he can stop us by himself. Maybe if he had flash, he could attempt to flash over and suicide for the 50-50 smite war, but that's his only option. If he rolls around to the Dragon pit, he's just going to get destroyed before he even reaches it. Before the Dragon, we were 800 gold ahead, but now we're ahead by 1,800 gold. That may not seem like much, but the global goal lets the team buy their items faster. This means that Graves will get his BL sword off of the next wave instead of having to wait for 2 more. Now, we're gonna look at a bad Dragon attempt. The enemy team killed Diana and forced Kha'Zix to go back and heal, and since I was top lane and bot lane was bot, they took mid turret for free. So that was good from them. Now the problem is they get greedy and go for Dragon afterwards. Diana is back up and so is Kha'Zix, and both of them are approaching the Dragon, so the enemy team is on the clock. Can they do Dragon quickly enough and get away? The answer is no. Rammus doesn't do enough single target damage to monsters, even with his W. This would be fine if they had a Vi or a Kha'Zix, someone who could melt the Dragon and then jump over the wall. And also, the enemy team split their focus between fighting my bottom lane and doing Dragon. They stay on the Dragon too long and my team arrives and kills Rammus in the pit. The rest of the enemy team scatters away and we end up trading 1 for 3 in our favor, and we also get the Dragon. If the enemy bot lane focused the Dragon instead of fighting my bot lane, they may have at least gotten the Dragon, but they made the worst possible choice in splitting their attention between fighting and doing Dragon. If we weren't already snowballing, we definitely are now. Also, we went from a 3.2k gold lead to a 5.7k gold lead. So in the span of about 20 seconds we gained 2.5k gold. The enemy team should have just been content with the free turret and backed off. Okay, here, Cassiopeia is overextended and she's the strongest person on the enemy team, so if we can pick her off, we can force an objective pretty easily. Shaco and Janica lash onto Cassiopeia, and while I do get low in health, we're able to kill her fairly easily. At this point in the game, death timers last for quite a while. Her being overextended hurts the team a lot because it means for the next 45 seconds, my team can force an objective while having the superior numbers. Fighting a 5v4 30 minutes into the game will usually always be a victory for the 5 players. Yasuo's bottom, and we see Kha'Zix and Lucian on a ward in the red side jungle, so we just rush the Baron. I was gonna teleport bottom to stop Yasuo, but Cassiopeia started channeling her teleport, and I wasn't sure if her team would make it in time to back her up, so I just decided to stay. We killed her pretty easily, but the correct move for me would have been to teleport to the turret, so we get Baron without losing anything, but like I said, I wasn't sure if my team could win a 4v4 once Cassiopeia teleported there. So when you're able to pick someone off this late into the game, feel free to force a Baron if you didn't use too many important ultimates, and if you believe your team can win a 5v4. And for the last clip, let's take a look at this disgusting Baron call. First thing to note is, Leona is already at 50% health before they even walk into the Baron pit. Even though she isn't a priority target and is pretty tanky, if she dies quickly, then it leaves no protection for her carries. So they're taking the Baron pretty quickly, but Morgana and Brand show up and the carries peel out of the Baron pit, as they should. Staying in such an enclosed area versus Brand and Morgana is suicide. Morgana can flash all inside the pit, and Brand can explode their team with his AoE, not to mention Baron can also apply debuffs to players, which increases any source of magic damage taken by 25% for each stack. The problem here is the front line doesn't pull out with the carries. Leona gets binded, and Amumu walks to the back of the Baron pit for some reason, and the Brand ult combined with the Baron acid melts their front line. Now that carries are left without a front line, and my team just centipedes them, and we go on to win the game. The enemy team should have just left the Baron pit as soon as Morgana and Brand shown up. When you put yourself into that small pit, you're very vulnerable to any form of AoE, which Morgana and Brand have a lot of. So yeah, like always, I hope you learned something from this video. Just remember there should be a lot of thinking involved when you make these calls. You should be asking yourself a lot of questions like, can we kill this before the enemy team arrives? If you're a dragon, does your top laner have teleport? Does theirs? If you force lanes to recall or you kill them, just think. Are you in a position to force an objective? If not on dragon, what about turrets or buffs? I guarantee you, if you constantly think about these things and learn when you can get away with taking a certain objective, you will definitely improve. Lots of times in solo queue, people take objectives as a result of what happened. Instead, you should force a play with the intention of taking an objective afterwards. But yeah, please give feedback. I'm still trying to figure out what you guys like, so please comment below and let me know how you feel about this video. If people like it, I'll do one with turrets as the main objective this week or sometime next week. I can maybe even turn it into a series. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. Thanks for watching. Professor GonGoon signing out. Peace.